Hello everyone, my name is Paul Laporte from Changing the Questions, and I decided to give my thoughts and input on last night's TLC pay-per-view. I'm going to just kind of briefly go over each of the matches that took place and give my opinion on how the matches were and where things kind of are from here. It's going to be a pretty loose form podcast, so let me know if you like it though. And if you do, then we'll continue to do these. We're actually going to plan to do another one for NXT TakeOver London. Me and Mike are both going to do that. In addition to that, we're going to be doing Changing the Questions, as usual, on Tuesdays and Thursdays of every week. So if you're interested in this, you want to see more things like this, be sure to leave me some feedback. And let's get on to my thoughts on the show. So we started off the night with Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch on the pregame show, which I was just happy that those two were able to get a match at all. I was not very happy when that match was broken up by about a 4 to 5 minute promo for the WWE Network. It's like, I've already bought this thing, and I know that they show the pre-show on the website, so you want to get in a plug for the network somewhere in there, but do you need to do it during the middle of your one and only match between two very, very good women's competitors who probably should have had a spot on the main card to begin with? No. As far as the match itself, this wasn't the best Sasha Banks-Becky Lynch match. It was good, but the chemistry seemed a little off. It seemed like I don't know if they were nervous or if just the timing wasn't right, but it was a good match. It wasn't a great match. Certainly wasn't the best match that Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch have had. Moving on to the main show, we started off with a ladder match for the Tag Team Championship between the New Day, the Usos, and the Lucha Dragons. As my cat stampedes around in the background through a series of plastic bags. Sorry about that. As far as the match itself, this match was, of course, far and away the best match of the night. Contained one of the spots of the year with the Salida del Sol off the ladder through another ladder. That spot looked absolutely amazing. The New Day were fun, as always. The Throne Trombone was great. The surprise dark horse for this match, I think, was Sin Cara, who I would have never expected to say that, but he pulled off some stuff that was really sick. That suicide dive over the top rope, or that tope to the outside on a ladder, which was on top of an opponent, was awesome looking. He was really moving his ass off. Everybody in that match was working really hard and just trying to kill themselves to get this over. And to success, I think they did. This match was far and away the best match of the night, like I said. Unfortunately, really after I was done watching this match, like I just kind of didn't want to watch the pay-per-view anymore, because I knew it was like nothing's going to beat this. They really should have saved this match for like third to last, and then had the cool-down match and then the world title match, because if you're going to have a match that has that kind of a spot in it, you can't open with it, because it just destroys the rest of the show, especially when you follow it up with two matches after that nobody really cares about. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and move on to Rusev versus Ryback. This was a match between Rusev and Ryback. I barely paid attention to it, to be honest. The thing that I paid attention to the most about it is just how badly deconstructed Lana's character is. When she showed up in WWE, she was the handler of this powerful Bulgarian/Russian killing machine who was just at her beck and call, and she wielded like a weapon. Now, she's just like this mousy arm candy who only exists to look pretty and to act as a distraction for her man. It's just really, really sad, because the Lana character was really interesting and fun when she was this powerful woman, and with Rusev being in the stable, Lana should be leading the League of Nations. She should be the brains behind all the muscle. She should be the one who's giving the orders, who's commanding people to do her bidding, instead of just hanging off of Rusev's arm during backstage segments and pretending to laugh, but not really laughing because you can't hear her voice, which makes me think they were like, well, we want you to be there, Lana, but we don't want to hear you, so if you could just pretend to laugh when everybody else is laughing, God, that would be great. It's really pathetic, and it infuriates me when WWE tries to push this whole Divas Revolution thing, like the main women roster are getting better spots and they're stronger, when, you know, you look at somebody like Lana, or you look at Summer Rae's character, and they're kind of just as pigeonholed and background noise as they used to be. They just get longer matches now, and it's really, really frustrating. Other than that, the match was fine. I guess, whatever. Speaking of whatever, chairs match. Ooh boy, a chairs match. For the United States Championship, Alberto Del Rio defeats Jack Swagger, because of course he did. This was another one. I mean, I give them credit, they were trying, but I have no reason to care about either of these guys, which is a shame, because Jack Swagger's a good wrestler, Alberto Del Rio is a good wrestler, but I have no reason to be invested in this match. What's the build-up for this match? That Jack Swagger is upset because his racist uncle isn't racist anymore, and he wants to be racist again, and then Alberto Del Rio leaves him, and now is he going to go back with Jack Swagger? Is Zeb Coulter going to stay off on his own? I don't know. I don't really care. The match was fine. Being a chairs match, they had to do all these stupid gimmicks with the chair. They could have just made it an ODQ match, and it probably would have been a lot better or more interesting, even though there's been very, very little build-up for this match for it to warrant an ODQ match. They could have just had it been a regular match, and I probably would have enjoyed it more, to be honest with you. All right, next up we have the 8-man tag team match, the Elimination Tables match, the Wyatt family versus Team ECW, the Dudley Boys, Rhino, and Tommy Dreamer. I am a huge fan of ECW, or at least I was when I was that age. And I just don't want to see them anymore. I don't want to see them on regular television. If I want to fire up the network and go back and watch old ECW pay-per-views, great. The Dudley Boys were my favorite tag teams of all time. I love Tommy Dreamer. I love Rhino. But I don't want to see them on main roster television anymore. And I don't want to see them beating your current talent or your future talent. Excuse me 1 second. I have to go kill my cat. I'll be right back. The match itself was fine. Again, everything in this was okay. I really don't like the fact that Eric Rowan got eliminated from the Wyatt family, because I just didn't think any of them should have been eliminated. The Wyatt family should just be running roughshod through these guys. For the most part, they did. And everything was okay up until the end, when they had Bubba Dudley tease the lighter fluid spot on the table, and instead of lighting the table on fire like they have done 100 times before and putting somebody through it or whatever, instead of that happening, the Wyatt family comes up, Braun Strowman choke slams him through the table that's not on fire. It just had lighter fluid, aka water, sprayed all over it. And they act like, oh, this is a big thing. But that spot was absolutely perfect as far as what the WWE product is these days. We're going to tease you with the idea of something awesome, and then when it comes time to deliver it, we're not going to deliver it to you. We're going to pour that lighter fluid all over the table and get you all excited for something that you're hoping to see, and then we're going to just cut the legs right out from under it. Nope, sorry, you're not going to get that. I just thought that was perfect. Okay, moving on to the Intercontinental Championship match. Dean Ambrose, new IC champion, defeats Kevin Owens. Again, this match, fine. It's a good match, but I had no real reason to care about it. And considering this match was between two of the very best talkers in professional wrestling, period, that is a goddamn shame. Dean Ambrose getting the belt, I'm fine with, though I personally believe that he is criminally underutilized as a babyface. Dean Ambrose is always better as a heel. His promos that he cuts are excellent. If you go YouTube some of Jon Moxley's work, which was his name prior to WWE, some of those promos from Dragon Gate and from just smaller promotions that very few people have heard of are haunting and disturbing and really, really excellent. And just him being this kind of plucky sidekick, it's just really wasting a great talent. And I think Kevin Owens is a better talent right now in terms of overall how he's being used. So maybe he should have kept the belt, but I'm okay if they're taking this off of him to move him into maybe the main event scene. crossed fingers, I guess, but probably not. And we'll see what Ambrose does with this IC title. If it's anything like his US title run where he holds it for like a year and a half and defends it 3 times and just wrestles a bunch of tag matches, maybe he'll do that too. Who knows? Speaking of matches I should have cared about but didn't, Charlotte beats Paige, again, defends her IC title. This match cemented Charlotte's heel turn, I guess, but was Charlotte ever really a babyface? I mean, what did she do that made her a babyface besides wrestle heels? She didn't really play by the rules, quote unquote. She didn't really go out of her way to be nice or be good. I mean, if you take a look at Charlotte's heel turn in NXT, she tag teamed with Bayley, who is the most babyface that ever walked the planet Earth. She turned on her, she made her think that she was her friend, and then she turned her back and walked away. Okay, great. In WWE, she never really did anything to make us believe that she was a good person or a good character, and you don't have to be good to turn bad. You can be neutral, and your alignment can shift to bad, and that's fine, but you just don't care as much, and especially because you're wrestling a heel already. She cheated to beat a heel, or at least somebody we perceived as a heel, because Paige was doing bad things. She was cheating. She insulted Charlotte's dead brother. So we have a heel turn against a woman who had gone out of her way to say the most despicable things she could, and we're supposed to boo Charlotte now? I mean, I like where they were going with the backstage segment with Becky Lynch kind of not being into this and not kind of, just being like, Charlotte, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I don't really like the way you won. And Charlotte being like, no, just go with it. It's fine. Like, I like that. Although that makes me believe that they're going to build up for a Charlotte-Becky Lynch feud, which on paper I like, but the fact that just means that Sasha Banks is going to be sitting in the background even further, unless they work her into it and do some sort of triple threat for the title, which I think could be really fun. But still, this just seems really flat to me, all of it. Just the characters in the women's division, which we talked about before on an earlier episode of Changing the Questions, they're just kind of all the same person, and you have no real reason to care about Charlotte over Becky Lynch. They never develop the characters. They never give you anything to go off of. And even with Charlotte, this heel turn is really just kind of stapling her to her father and trying to get that heat from Ric Flair onto her. I don't know. I just don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get anybody emotionally invested in this. Certainly not to the extent that they were invested in NXT, or still are. All right, finally we had the TLC match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Sheamus against Roman Reigns. Sheamus retaining the title. Oh my god. And I feel bad about this match too, actually, because Sheamus and Roman both were legitimately just busting their asses and killing themselves to try and get this match over. They were doing spots, they were hurting themselves, they were just doing everything they could to try and get this over. The crowd wasn't having it, and my eyes just could not focus on this thing. I just didn't care. I knew how it was going to end. It was going to end with Roman getting so close to that title, and then having somebody come out to interfere. And it wasn't even like a Dean Ambrose heel turn or something interesting. It was just, oh, look, here comes the League of Nations, sans Wade Barrett, who they must have, forgotten when they drove to the airport and he was at home combating inept burglars or something. I don't know where Wade Barrett was. He's in this stable, right? Well, he wasn't when they came out and helped Sheamus. So then Sheamus wins the belt. Literally, this match had no reason for happening. This match didn't advance anything. It didn't further anything. It just was, oh, I screwed you again, Roman. Ha ha ha. It was really, really rote and boring. And I was just ready to turn everything off and go to sleep when they had Roman do his freak out, just lose his shit at the end of the pay-per-view, and then he beats up the League of Nations by himself, which makes that stable look great. So that sucks. But then out comes Triple H, and Roman beats the crap out of him for what felt like 20 minutes, and actually managed to take that Boston crowd that booed him the whole way through and get them to cheer for him and chant, "Thank you, Roman," at the end. I thought him beating Triple H was good. This is what his character should be. I said on Twitter while I was live tweeting the show that if this was Steve Austin doing this, the place would be losing their minds. And I mean, obviously you can't compare Roman Reigns and Steve Austin, but Roman Reigns should be the guy who doesn't make snarky promos. He's not a plucky underdog. Like, no, he's a wrecking ball. He's a destroyer. He's an ass kicker. And if you get in his way, he's just gonna kill you. That's the way he should be booked. That's the way he was booked when he was in the Shield, and that's why the Shield was beloved. And he got so much heat initially in the Shield because he was just the guy that when you tagged him in, he just ran through you. That's the way Roman Reigns should be booked. As a character, Roman Reigns doesn't need to say a single word. He doesn't need to pander to the crowd. He just needs to show up, kick ass, and leave. And as far as his matches go, the way Roman Reigns' matches should be, he shouldn't be, getting beaten down and have to kind of come back or get sympathy. It should just be a matter of all Roman Reigns matches should be, can he get to 100% momentum? If he gets to full momentum, you can't stop him, you lose. And the only way you can hope to beat him is just to cut him off before he gets to full power. That should be it. He's not going to get sympathy from the crowd because he's not a sympathetic figure. He's huge. He has an incredible physique. He is the handsome Samoan prince. We're not going to root for that guy as an underdog like we would for like Mick Foley. It's not the same guy. But people will cheer for a guy who beats the asses of people that they don't like, and that's what Roman should be, period. That's all they should have him do. They shouldn't try and make him Daniel Bryan. They shouldn't try and make him into Stone Cold. He is his own thing. He should just be a wrecking ball, and people like that. People cheer for Brock Lesnar for that exact same reason. And this was a step in the right direction. I like what they did. I'm going to be interested to see where they go forward from here, but I'm not very optimistic because WWE has a track record for doing something cool and then almost immediately blowing it. So we'll see how that turns out on Monday Night Raw, but that's going to wrap it up for me right now. I hope you like this. If you do, leave some feedback either in the comment section on YouTube. You can send us an email now. We have our social media all set up, so if you want to send us an email, you can do that at changingthequestions@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do that at changingtheQs, so changing the QS. You can also check us out on Facebook. Just search for Changing the Questions there. So we have all that stuff set up. We really want to get a community going. We love interacting with people. We want to hear your feedback on segments like these. We want to hear your questions for the Changing the Question shows, which, like I said, those are going to be up every Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to have a new one going up tomorrow for that, and we'll probably be back on Thursday for the NXT TakeOver London recap. Thank you for listening. My name is Paul Laporte, and we'll see you soon.